And it was fascinating because we would never go into a village that we hadn't already been invited into by the village elders because of the code of Pashtunwali, which is if you are an invited guest into the village, they will fight to the end, every last man in that village, to keep you safe because you are their guest. So that was a pretty cool thing when I was over there, and I got to see a lot of stuff. And it was funny at the very end, the guys told me that they didn't know how I was going to react once I arrived with them and actually put my boots on the tarmac. So they told me they had rented a hotel room for me in Kabul. And if I was freaking out or couldn't handle it, just Kabul, they were going to dump me in the hotel for a couple of weeks and come pick me up at the end when they were done with all the stuff they were doing. So that was kind of funny to hear. But yeah, I grew a big bushy beard. That was their big thing. Big bushy beard. They made me give them my sunglasses when I got there because they said nothing IDs you from a distance like a pair of sunglasses on. That wasn't a big thing. You didn't see the Afghan men rolling around with sunglasses. And, we had the man jammies at times and stuff like that to kind of very low profile, thin skinned vehicles. We weren't rolling around in armored vehicles and stuff. The whole idea was to just blend in and not stick out. Best fried chicken I've ever had in my life was in Jalalabad. It was pretty darn good. And I also learned that next to being a doctor, being an author is one of the most honorable professions in Afghanistan. They think that's a pretty big deal that you write books. So my guys totally introduced me. They said, oh, he's an author. He's written a lot of books and all this kind of stuff. So that gained me a lot of goodwill right away with anybody we met. They thought that was pretty cool that I wrote books. So it was a neat experience, really, really neat experience. We never got shot at. We heard gunfire in the distance and that kind of stuff, but no contact at all for us. We had all the stuff in the car if you needed it. Right. Lots and lots and lots of stuff in the car. I mean, it was amazing how much kit we rolled around with, but it was never necessary. Never necessary. Never had a moment where I feared for my life or anything like that.
When you heard that first snap of gunfire, even though it was off in the distance, how did you react? Did your heart kind of skip a beat a little?
Well, everybody heard it at the same time, and they all kind of looked at each other, and these guys are so used to it. They smiled, and they're like, oh, Thor, that's 2 hills over that way. Let us tell you what's on that side. And that's why you hear that. And we always hear it when we drive by here. It's nothing new. And so, no, I mean, I expected. I mean, we were driving into an active war zone. I expected to hear stuff. I wanted to go down to Kandahar and do something. There was a gathering that was going to happen down in Kandahar. And so one of the guys who really was plugged in on the ground and had really good contacts in that part of Afghanistan said, you know what? We'd need a whole truckload of support to take us down there. There's no way. Just the amount of guns we've got in this car, it's not enough, and we'd need to get a whole bunch of guys to take with us, and we're not going to do that. And a few days later, like around the time that we would have gone down for this thing that was happening, I can't remember if it was a Loya Jirga or what it was, but there was a big bombing there. They had wanted to kill the local police commander. And so a lot of people were injured. Several people were killed. And so the guy on the team that had originally said no to going down to Kandahar for this thing said, Thor, if we had listened to you, who knows what would have happened?